Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review on the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 Spider-Punk figure. Now I got this at GameStop Canada and wow, I really like this figure. Everything that is going on here is way better than I was expecting. You know, that kind of is the sentiment with most figures in this wave, at least so far for me. I just think all of them out of box and in person are way better than expected, but specifically this Spider-Punk, when it was leaked and revealed, I was really on the fence. I thought it looked good, but just the way it's in the package, it looked pretty cheap overall. But when I got it out of the box and I opened it, I was not expecting it, not only for this figure to be as good as it is, but the articulation and just the detail throughout is honestly really impressive for the Marvel Legends line. But that being said, I do have a lot to say about this figure, so without further ado, let's get into the review for the brand new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 Spider-Punk. Now, as always, I do want to start off with the packaging for this figure. If you've seen one of these Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse retro cards, frankly, you have seen them all. They are all identical, minus the name of the actual figure. But anyways, you do have Miles, Spider-Gwen, and Spidey 2099 there on the front, along with some Spider-Versal kind of imagery. Marvel Legends series logo, Hasbro, Spider-Punk, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 logo. There is the price at GameStop Canada. And then on the back, you have the other figures in this wave. I do have reviews for these four out now. The Spot, Peter B. Parker, and Cyborg Spider-Woman will be next. There we have a rendered image of the Spider-Punk figure, which with all the articulation this figure has, that is quite a simple pose, but they tend to do really simple poses with their highly articulated figures anyway. But other than that, I don't have much more to go over with the packaging. So without further ado, let's get on to the Spider-Punk figure himself. Now, the only accessories included with this Spider-Punk is the guitar, as well as this extra thwipping / rock and roll hand, which is actually quite cool. You don't know if he's thwipping or if he's rocking out because it works for either. But what's not nice about this, in my opinion, is that they definitely chose the wrong side. I would have way rather preferred it to be on this side because then he could hold the guitar and make the sign, but instead he has it on this side and he can hold his pick. I don't know. I just find that doesn't make too much sense, but still a nice addition to get nonetheless. I just kind of wish we would have gotten the other side. It wouldn't have cost him that much, but you know, Hasbro. There is some nice detail though throughout, kind of like a cobweb or spider web, but in blue, and that does wrap around to the other side a bit, which is also nice. Same thing on the other side, but this side does have a pick, which on that side, or that angle rather, it does look pretty good, but here, they definitely missed a lot of paint, at least on mine. It's kind of majority red and it's supposed to be all white, but still a nice hand to get as well. But overall, nothing too crazy for the hands. But for the guitar with this figure, it is easily another reason why I think I prefer this figure over the previous Spider-Punk, especially when you compare this guitar to the old one, which was all white. You had a little bit of paint there, but this one has all this printing. You have a little bit of paint up top. Neither of them have, you know, painting for these strings, which I guess is a little annoying, but still, this one is definitely way better in my opinion, and the strap is a way cooler color overall. But just look at all of that printing detail. Hasbro has rarely, if ever, done anything like that. It's kind of like the photoreal, but not on a face, just on an item. I don't exactly know what you would call that, and I don't even know where to begin on this. Just like a wolf face, looks like some sort of meme, like a human face, which is very interesting, like a chessboard, checkerboard, arrow, some eyes or something, a skull. That like a surfboard. I have no idea what is going on here, but I guess there's a closer look and you can kind of pick each of the little things out as you wish. But overall, I just really do like this guitar. And when it was revealed, I was a little pissed. I was like, they're just reusing that old guitar design. But, you know, they did, and that isn't great. But still, I am impressed with the additional work that they added here. Just a very nice accessory to include with the Spider-Punk. And it does go over the Spider-Punk like so, and he can hold it with this one hand, just like so. And you kind of have to wrap it around like that. Ooh, work just like that. And he's playing the guitar. Beautiful. Now for the Spider-Punk figure itself, this is just insane. I honestly don't even know where to begin because there is so much going on. But I guess as always, I will start off with the head sculpt and then kind of make my way down. He does have those iconic Spider-Punk mohawk spikes, which do look very good on this figure, especially in comparison to the previous one. Another reason why I prefer this design over this one, these look kiddie, they look 4+. Sure, they're accurate, but you know, they also look like kind of upside down ice cream cones. So we're going to take them off the frame and focus on the superior version, in my opinion. Looking at the top, though, they aren't in a straight line, which is intentional. There's actually kind of a pattern, matter of fact. What's not intentional is the spikes are a little bit bent. I've seen them way worse. Mine is luckily pretty good overall. But if you do have the opportunity to look at multiple copies, which I guess is one benefit for it being in the plastic packaging, definitely do look to see which one has the least bent spikes. But for the actual face itself there, I love that. All these spider people, all these Spider-Men, they have these masks and you can't even really tell the emotion or what's going on. Look at this guy. He has two complete different eyes. He looks crazy. And then he also has this like dripping mascara spray paint tear look, which is really, really cool. And then on top of that, the actual webbing or spider pattern, I don't exactly know what to call it. I think it is a webbing pattern, is all mismatched. Looks like it was like chalked or penciled on. I absolutely love that. I thought that was unintentional at first, but that is intentional and that is very, very good. And that kind of does go all the way throughout the torso. Well, I guess nothing really other than just the head sculpt and the neck, but still, I really do like this head sculpt. I really, really do. Then going down to the torso and the jacket of this figure, it is kind of like a Kiss heavy metal looking jacket, which is another cool addition to this figure, especially when you compare it to the previous one. This was like a jean jacket, and certainly that is nice, and they do have the same logo, but overall, I do prefer this one, especially when we get to the front. They do have the same logo, and that does read, if you didn't know, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is a very, very cool little reference. You do have some spikes on the top and some even spikier ones right there. And then moving to the front, he does have these spiky silver looking zippers, which also does look very good. But he also does have that kind of same printing that was on the guitar for his pins and patches. There looks like a UK flag, maybe like a skull. I have no clue what that one would be. That's just too small. That one's also really small. This one is darker, kind of looks like an A or something like that. This one also had the pins, but not printed, just red and white. Very, very simple and almost lazy. Once again, another reason why I prefer this figure overall is just that jacket. You can't tell me that this one is better. Just look at this. Just look at it. Now, I did want to take off the jacket of this figure to see what it would look like without it, and I gotta say, that is a very nice additional kind of display option. You do have some very nice creases on there. We can see the torso better without it. Some on the back as well. Those look very, very good, and then some tatters on the bottom of both sides. I just overall really do like the shirt underneath. Love this jacket. Certainly, you're going to want to have them displayed with it, but it's nice to know that if you take it off, you also still have an amazing Spider-Punk figure. Then moving down to the arms, you do have that same kind of detail that was on the hands, does continue all the way up. You do have these spiky bracelet gauntlet things on this side and then on the upper bicep here. What I don't like about these is you have a little bit of silver paint on the sides that you can see right here, but then completely just stops, which is a little bit cheap and lazy of Hasbro. What do we got to pay another $5 on top of the price hike? Yeah, just overall, I don't like that look, but still they do look pretty good. I just wish they were painted a little bit better. But for the rest of the arms, very, very skinny and, you know, not a lot more going on. You do want to be careful with this figure overall, like with most of these skinny Spider-Verse figures, because I would hate for them to break, especially with this guy, very, very gummy plastic. So definitely keep that in mind. But yeah, the torso does look good. He also does have this, like, I don't know what it is called, a choker or something. You do have some silver paint there on the front. And then once again, just cuts off. That I don't like. That is definitely an aspect that I don't like of this figure. But then lastly, moving down to the legs of this figure, very, very skinny design, just like the arms. So definitely keep that in mind. On the belt, you also have that same design that is on the jacket and the other parts of this figure. And just like those, you have the paint on the front and then it completely cuts off in the back. Man, that is a bummer. Probably my biggest gripe with this figure. But, you know, at the same time, I really, frankly, would hate for Hasbro to have to spend an additional 2 to 3 cents to paint that. You know, with that amount of money, they'd go bankrupt. They can't afford to finish the paint of this figure. No, I'm joking. But, you know, with the price going up on these figures, I love Marvel Legends. I always will, likely. It just sucks that these are getting so expensive, especially with no Build-A-Figure piece, and they can't just do the minimal effort of just finishing the silver paint on the belt and these other parts. I don't know. That is definitely a bummer for me personally. But you also do have these blue straps, which are the same color as the ones that are on the guitar. So that definitely is a cool little addition. You also do have a little bit of printed design on the thighs, and then right there as well, same kind of design as the thighs. And then the boots, I absolutely love. I love the color scheme of the red and the blue of this figure because, you know, that is the signature Spider-Man color, but they just apply it in such unique ways overall, especially with these boots. Very, 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 very cool. And then he does have them tied at the back. Interesting design. That tie does also look very, very good. Not much on the bottoms. But yeah, overall, I think that's all I want to go over with this figure. So without further ado, let's get on to his articulation. But for articulation on this Spider-Punk, it is actually quite good articulation overall. The head does go up that much, down, a little bit of tilt, full 360. And then the arms go up that much, down, full 360. Ooh, bicep swivel. I'm very, very scared that these are going to break. So definitely be careful with this figure, as you should be careful with all of your figures. Very, very skinny double jointed elbows, but that is still impressive nonetheless. And then all the hands go up, down, and full 360 on a horizontal hinge. Ab crunch goes down, whoa, like literally 90 degrees. Back, kind of the same thing. That is absolutely insane. Waist cut, full 360. The legs kick up that much. Back, splits, whoa, full 360 upper thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees, which are also very skinny, just like the arms, and they also look very good as the arms do as well. And then boot rotation, full 360, and then the ankles do go up that much, which is quite crazy. And then back, and then ankle rocker pivot. Also, I did want to mention just the painting on the laces of the boots. That is very, very good. They didn't miss it on either side, at least on my copy. But yeah, that is the articulation of this Spider-Punk. Now, first for comparisons, here we have the Spider-Punk next to the previous Spider-Punk, as well as the retro-carded animated cel-shaded Spider-Man. And I know it seems like I was kind of dunking on this figure the whole video, but I do really like it. I like it for its own reasons. I just think people really hold this figure to a high standard. And when this figure was revealed, they were like, oh, it's not as good, and I really wanted a new Spider-Punk, and I'm disappointed. But I have to be honest, I absolutely leaps and bounds prefer this figure over this. Once again, I love this design. It has a lot of good aspects, but I just think this figure is way, way better. Next up here, we have the Spider-Punk next to a MCU Tom Holland Spider-Man, as well as the Peter B. Parker from the same wave. Here we have the Spider-Punk next to the Miles Morales, as well as the Spider-Gwen from the same wave. These two are definitely my favorite. I did say she was my favorite, but I don't know. They are very close. He's probably my third favorite, so these three are definitely my three most recommended figures, at least from this wave. But yeah, they do look very, very good together. And once again, the animated proportions do come to life, especially when you do compare them next to each other. Here we have the Spider-Punk next to Spider-Man 2099, as well as Jessica Drew Spider-Woman. Here we have Spider-Punk next to Cyborg Spider-Woman. Here we have Spider-Punk next to Spider-Ham, The Spot, and Spider-Man Noir. Lastly, for comparisons, here we have the Spider-Punk next to the Prowler from Into the Spider-Verse, as well as just a standard Bucky Cap Hydra Soldier figure. Now, lastly, for my final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 Spider-Punk figure, as you could tell throughout this whole video, I absolutely love this figure, and I'm really, really happy I do, because when it was revealed and leaked, I didn't like it. No one really did. It looked cheap, it looked weird in the package, just didn't look good and didn't hold up to the expectation of a new Marvel Legends Spider-Punk figure. But just like all the other figures in this wave, now that I got it in person and have the ability to play around with it, it is way, way better than I was expecting, and completely exceeds my expectations, which I really didn't have any expectations because I thought the figure looked bad. So I went in thinking that that was going to be the case. But now that I got it, this is so much better than I was expecting. And if you want a Spider-Punk figure in your Marvel Legends collection, go and get this one. That old one is good, but as I mentioned numerous times throughout this video, at least in my opinion, this one is just so much cooler and more unique than that previous one, especially for the price of that one. That one goes for like $150, $200. That's one of the most expensive Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures probably in general. So why go buy that when you could go buy 5 of this one? But yeah, that is kind of just my thoughts on that. Certainly it is stylized, and definitely do have to look and watch the movie to see if you like it. But even so, with that into account, I still think it would look really, really good on just a Spider-Man kind of comic Spider-Verse shelf. So definitely keep that in mind when you want to buy this figure. I know usually I kind of recommend, oh, do you get the old one or get this one? But with the price of that old figure and just with how much I like this figure way more overall compared to that last one, I think it is a easy buy compared to that previous one. But that is kind of my thoughts on that. Now, for my rating of this figure with the price in account, I'm probably going to aim higher with this figure, as I do really, really like it. So I think I'm going to give it in between like a 9 and a 9.5. So let's give it a 9.3 as my final rating. As always, let me know what you think of this figure in the comments below. Are you going to pick it up? Are you not? Does it look better than you thought? As always, just start a conversation in the comments below, and I will try my best to respond. But until my next video, thank you so much for watching this one. I truly appreciate it. And until my next video, I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.